perfect. Oh, well, as close to perfect as I'm ever likely to get. So I've covered up that part of the white rose. This is going to, the red rose, that's going to be white. That's going to be leaf and leaf over there. And hopefully that will be enough to form the red rose. I'll go over that once I've changed the other colours. So here I'm going to also do some highlights on this one. I'm using the big brush. It's easier with the big brush to do these bigger roses. And it's really just using the size of the brush, depending on the size of the rose, where you want to put your petals. But I am dipping my brush in the oil again, since the paint's a bit dry now. Don't want too much oil. So just do one sort of big petal from there. And that makes... Okay, so you can see the ridges again. I'm going to have to come back with a small brush and remove those. And this is very nice and soft pink, but needs a bit more white. So, and when I removed the ridges, it did mean that there was a bit of blending, although I tried to avoid it as much as possible. Essentially, I have blocked in the whole painting, and now I just need to do the refinements. There were a few highlights that happened naturally when I removed some of the paint that was sticking up. But here, for example, this rose, although it's in the shadow, it's just a bit too dark. It needs a bit more yellow on there and there. And here I've decided that originally the vase looked very big when it had the top still showing, but now the top is covered, it looks very small in proportion to this very large bouquet of flowers. So I'm going to need to enlarge the vase, and I'm going to do that. I really can't see at all what I'm doing. I'm just doing this purely by, I don't know, instinct. I have such bad vision today. It's unbearable actually looking out of my eyes. So this is coming out that side. The leaf is going over it. And it's coming down here. And then I can elongate all the stalks, the stems, and it will look much more proportional, I think. Now I'll add some leaves while it's still fresh in my memory as to where they are and what they should look like. That one's going that way, so I'll do this one this way. And it will be a big leaf. Just to give some contrast. So that sets the yellow flower back a bit. In fact, why not make this bigger? And the thing about leaves is that they really don't have to be perfect shapes, because leaves are all different shapes depending on what stage you pick them in. They could be falling apart with parts missing on the edges that have died or fallen off. So here I'm going to add the leaves here while it's wet. I can do that. And I can make them a whole variety of different shades. They do not have to be green, but I'll start off with green just to get them in on this white, which was pink. I'm using a smaller brush now, and depending on where the paint is, more or less comes off. So changing or varying the colour of the leaf. I like it when it comes out like that, when there's distinct colours of different shades of green in the leaf where you haven't even tried to do it. But now this one is looking a bit wishy-washy. And this one too. So make those darker. Because what is a bouquet without leaves? You've got to have leaves. And some are above and some are below. Those are like the ghost leaves, so they just add background. Then I need some more there. Tiny bud there. Well, I could make one coming right down here. I have so much paint on this paintbrush and none of it's in the right place. I don't know if anyone else has this problem, but working upside down is not easy. Only I would turn the canvas the other way around. My brain just doesn't see things the same way upside down. I've made quite a few changes. I've added all these leaves here. So that white rose is a little bit obscured. I'm going to turn this rose into a daisy and a white daisy, and I'm adding one in there and there, one up there, one up there, and I have added some more stalks into the water. I'm still not happy with this vase. It's shape is just not right. I think I went too high up with that. So it also needs to just come down a bit more here. And then this needs to come from the other side of the glass, needs to be down here rather than up there. So that's going to require a little work. Because the colour I put in before was a mixture of colours, and I don't know if I'll get that again. But nothing is impossible. It was a mixture of green and blues and I don't know, whatever was on the canvas. So we'll just do that for now. And that forms a natural reflection from the other side. And then, yeah, I need to put the daisies in. So my daisies are not going to be all have identical petals. It's going to be a bit difficult to do that one right now while it's wet, but I'll try. Let's try with one that's dry. So the idea is to put the brush down, but not pull it all the way down, so that all the petals are not exactly the same. Not enough white. I have white on the brush now, and it's quite dry, not much oil. I'm going to just put the brush down and lift and let the rest go. Lift, put it down and lift. Put it down and lift. So some will have more white, some will be longer, depending on where you're looking at it from. These closest to us will be the shortest. So I'll leave it like that. It doesn't have to be a perfect pinwheel. And I'll continue to do the others. I also just added a little white and then a little yellow here because there was just too much red, I felt. And then thinking about it, I think it's going to be too difficult to put a daisy in there. The rose is kind of tacked up already. And so I'm rather going to turn that into a mauve rose. I think that's what's missing. Add one of those in there. So I've put a daisy in there, one in there, one in there, one there, one down there, one down there, so upside down. And I just need to put in a little center in this one, and then just drag in a bit of green into the petals. And I might put a daisy over some of these leaves here. There don't have to be so many leaves there. And this I could turn into one of those variegated leaves. I think that will look nice. And so sometimes one just has to sit and look at a painting for quite a while to see what's missing, what needs changing. Do I put little thorns on? Is that just going to be too much detail? Doesn't even see the thorns. I'll bring you back when I have made some more changes.